Hey, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Today I want to talk to you about something that I wrote in my journal this morning. If you watch one of my recent videos, you'll know that I journal every morning. And sometimes I have addendums, little additional things that I write in my journal after I've journaled. So kind of thoughts about your thoughts, if you will, and which is something that we can all do, right? We can all have thoughts about our thoughts. We can be the observer of our thoughts without reacting to our thoughts. If you'd like to talk more about that, then reach out to happymancoaching.com. So, my journal this morning, my additional notes, I want to share with you. So, I'm going to bring those up here on the screen. And if you're listening in the podcast, which if you're watching the video and you don't know there's a podcast, you can find that on Spotify under Happy Man Coaching. And if you're listening on the podcast and you don't know that there's a YouTube channel, well, you can find that on YouTube at Happy Man Coaching. So go find that. So anyway, I'm going to put this up on the screen. So for those who are listening, I'm just going to read out, what it is that's in my notes. And if you actually want to see a copy of that, you can see that on YouTube. So here we go. Okay, so here are what I call my morning pages, which are just my journal notes, but this one's an addendum. I didn't write my emotional state on it. I didn't write my location, which is what I normally do at the top of my journal entries. But for today, this is just something, like I said, thoughts about my thoughts. So I was thinking that, when we're saying things like, I'm not sure, I'm not certain, I don't believe, we're actually resisting the very thing that we want. And this actually kind of came up for me because I was thinking about a conversation that I was having with one of the men that I'm coaching, and he's having a hard time believing what we talk about. He's having a hard time accepting that these things could even possibly be true. And he wants to believe these things, but there's something in him that is fearful, something in him that doesn't believe that he's worthy of it, or that it could even be possible to let go, to receive that life, the universe, God, the higher power, the big kahuna, whatever you want to call it, could actually want to give him what it is that he wants. That this entire time in his life he's been struggling, that somewhere along the way from childhood on, he developed this belief that in order to experience what he wanted to experience, to have what he wanted to have, he needs to struggle. And so this sets up in all of us. We all kind of suffer that from one degree to another. And what we do is we actually doubt the very thing that we're wanting. And so this keeps us in resistance. It keeps us in closure. So imagine this, right? You're resisting something, like at the same time that you're seeking it, the same time that you're wanting to believe it, the same time that you're wanting to receive it, you're actually telling yourself, he's telling yourself, I've told myself in the past that, what if it's not possible? What if it's not real? What if it doesn't exist? What if it's not for me? What if it's for other people, but somehow I can't quite get there? What if I'm not doing enough? What if I'm not doing it right? All of these are resistance. All of these are closures. All of these are basically us shutting down and saying, I don't think that it's possible. And our mind will attempt to support what we believe, or in this case, don't believe, right? So if we say, I'm not sure, what did I say at the top there? I'm not sure, I'm not certain, I don't believe that's true. Then what our brain says is it says, okay, well, let me give you all the reasons to support what it is that you believe. You don't believe that it's possible? Well, absolutely. Well, here it is. Here's some past experiences that you have that back that up. Here is some information, some filtered information to corroborate, to collaborate, to support this belief that you have. And so when we want something and resist its existence, we actually create conflict and frustration and suffering within us, right? Which is kind of, I laugh because it's tragically true. We create this desire, this longing, this wanting, and then we resist it, which creates this suffering for something that we want but can't have. We can't have it, not because it's not ours, not because it's not possible, but because even if it was handed to us, we wouldn't even believe that it exists. So we curse the external for not coming to us. We blame life for not giving us what we want. We shake our fist at the external, and all while saying, I don't believe it's possible. And so nothing will change on the outside until we change on the inside, right? Our perspective, our belief, our insight, our acceptance of ourself, our acceptance of what's going on, to be able to just let go, to do less, to trust, and to believe with detached expectation that it will come. Now that phrase, detached expectation, what does that mean? Well, when we're attached to something, right, just like we're attached to our belief that it's not possible, then we're dependent on that. That thing needs to be true in order for us to be okay. And we want to be okay no matter what happens, whether what we think is supposed to happen happens or doesn't happen. We're still okay no matter what, because we realize that our well-being, our happiness, our okayness isn't dependent on these things. But we also, at the same time, and this is sort of a duality, we want to hold an expectation that it will come, right? We can't resist it by saying, I want it, but I don't believe it. We have to believe that it's true, believe that it will happen, believe that it will come. Stop resisting, right? We have to let go of resistance and detach from its happening at the same time that we're expecting that it will. And you can even use the word open if expectation is too complicated or too confusing for you. You can just say, we can believe with an openness that it will come. And we want to allow your mind to support your desires. Remember, again, your mind is going to support whatever it is that you tell it. So if you tell it it's not possible, it's going to be like, okay, it's not possible. But if you allow your mind to support your desires, to be open, right, to be expectant, to believe that it will actually happen, then your mind can look for those opportunities. It can stop filtering out opportunities. So we want to be open. We want to be curious. We want to, most of all, breathe, right? Just relax, take a breath, take our foot off the accelerator of trying to force something to happen, or maybe even take our foot off the brake of believing that it won't happen. All right, so that's what I want to share with you today. And there's some there's a little bit of the bookend of my notes that I always put down there to remind myself to love myself, and that I am growing, and I'm growing by weeding my garden, weeding the garden of my mind. All right, there you go. There are some thoughts about my thoughts. And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Go ahead and leave your comment. Tell me whether or not you think this is possible or not. Tell me why you think that I'm wrong. Why, or tell me how this has worked in your life, how this has actually transformed your experience as you've begun to change, your outside world has begun to change. Share with me your story. I'd love to hear it. All right, that's what I have for you today. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.